Are you sick of constantly telling yourself you're going to start working on your goals, going to the gym, eating healthy, getting it all right, and never actually doing anything with consistency? Why are we standing in the way of our own success? Why are we self-sabotaging? And how do we stop it? That's exactly what this video is about. Let's get straight into it. This video is going to be about the 3 things that you can do to finally stop self-sabotaging and find true success and consistency in your daily routine. The first way to stop self-sabotaging is to work on your relationship with yourself. Literally the most important relationship in your life, the most important relationship that you will ever have. The core underlying reason for self-sabotage is that you have a negative self-image. You do not think good of yourself. You don't think that you are capable or worthy of success, of happiness, of goodness. And so you constantly self-sabotage as a means of proving this negative self-perception. It all comes down to your self-esteem. Unless you work on that, unless you build that up, you will never believe truly that you are deserving of good things, and that if you work hard, good things will come to you. You will constantly doubt yourself. You'll constantly feel as though everything is worthless or pointless, and you are worthless and your existence is pointless. It goes so deep. You need to work on your relationship with yourself. You need to build up your self-esteem so that you have such a strong sense of self, and it's filled with so much hope and positivity. The people who don't self-sabotage are the people who have true self-love, self-worth, self-belief, and a good sense of self-esteem. If you don't love yourself, if you don't even respect yourself, you'll never work hard for a good future for yourself. You will constantly struggle to show up for yourself because you don't even value yourself or your future. Now, I've personally struggled with my self-esteem for years, and I'm going to share the one thing that's helped me more than anything else, and that is to befriend yourself. I know it sounds a little bit ridiculous, but just hear me out. Now, you share so much of your time, your energy, your kindness, or your compassion with your friends to lift them up when they're feeling down, to motivate them to chase their dreams, to just, give them that positive energy and lift them up. You need to start doing that for yourself. Speak to yourself as you would speak to a friend. Would you ever say horrible things to them like, you're stupid, you're ugly, your future is going to be horrible? You would never in your wildest dreams speak like that to one of your friends. You would constantly try to show up for them, to lift them up, to just be an amazing support system. So be that support system for yourself. You are literally going to be your own best friend. You are going to give yourself pep talks. You're going to start lifting yourself up. In the way that you go out of your way for everyone else, you are going to start doing that for yourself. You are going to put yourself first, and you are really going to go in exactly the same way that you do with your friends. You are just there. You are kind. You are gracious. You are generous. You need that energy for yourself, because honestly, you need to save yourself. No one else is coming to save you. And the only way you can save yourself is through compassion, but also accountability. Now, let's say one of your friends has a really big dream. She really wants to be an influencer, let's say. And if she comes to you and she cries about it and she says, I feel like this, I'm not doing well, it's not like I'm not getting anywhere, would you say, oh, it's okay, you just need to sit and rot in your room, everything will be okay? No, you would say, you need to pick yourself up, let me help you shoot some content, let's talk about your strategy, you can do this, you can make it happen. See, there's a beautiful combination of practical advice and also motivating words and compassion, because you don't just want to be so hard on yourself and really just go in on yourself in a way that is full of negativity and like self-hate and, oh my gosh, you could have done so much more, you've been procrastinating, you've been lazy. Like, that is not going to work. You are just going to ruin your relationship with yourself even more. You are going to feel even more demotivated than you already do, and you're going to start self-sabotaging even more as well. So you need to speak to yourself like you do with your besties, with your friends, or even your siblings or family members that you truly love and you try to uplift. Have that energy. You are going to combine the practicality, the accountability with the compassion and the love. This will honestly change your life. You will feel so motivated and also productive. You will genuinely just want to get on with things, and your relationship with yourself will improve so much because you'll constantly be showing up for yourself. You literally need to be your best friend. Take yourself out for dates. Literally have positive pep talks with yourself, also known as positive affirmations. Just stand in front of the mirror and say things like, I am worthy, I am powerful, I am beautiful. Like, honestly, this is how you will change your mind, you will shift it to seeing your worth, seeing your value, and wanting to work hard for yourself, wanting to really go in with that self-care and that self-love and just protect yourself, care for yourself, reserve your energy for good things. And as you start doing that, automatically you will start building a beautiful future for yourself that will really align with your dream self. You literally start looking like your dream self. Even before you have accomplished everything your dream self has, you'll already start like aligning yourself to that person. The second point is to realize that the fear of staying stuck in life is so much worse than the fear of change. Now, so much of self-sabotage is linked onto this fear of change and this fear of being uncomfortable with change and just wanting to stick to familiarity because that's easy, that's what we know, that's what we're comfortable with. We tend to forget that staying stuck in one place in life is actually so much harder. It's so much more stressful and anxiety inducing. Now, I'm an avid reader, and if I think about any of the novels that I love, that are my favorite books of all time, all of them involve character development and change, and the character going through difficult scenarios and moments in order to become their best selves, in order to fulfill their potential, in order to literally have an interesting life. So you might be self-sabotaging by just wanting to stay comfortable and safe, but honestly, that is truly, when you think about it, discomfort and lack of safety, because you are not protecting your future self, you are not growing as a person, you are not living your life to the max. You are literally staying stuck in one place. Now, I understand that change can be hard. It can be difficult to grow. It can be difficult to leave our comfort zones. Honestly, nobody likes doing it. It's not as though people who are really successful and productive love waking up at 5 a.m. It's still hard for them to get out of bed, but they do it because they have that love for themselves, for their future, for their goals. Now, it's so important to just tune into that and to deal with the discomfort and the fear of change in order to have a better future. I have a personal self-sabotage story to share with you today. So I had been wanting to become a morning person for the longest time, and so I started setting the alarm for 6 a.m. and one day I actually woke up at 6 a.m. and I was out of bed, brushed my teeth, did all of my skincare, everything. I was ready to go for the day. And you know what I did? I paused and I looked around me and I did the most intense form of self-sabotage by just going back to bed. And let me tell you why I did it. Because it was so uncomfortable for me. I was like, oh my gosh, no one else is awake. It's so quiet. This doesn't feel like me. I'm not somebody who wakes up this early. I was so deeply uncomfortable with the change and with the just discomfort of it all that I went back to bed. This is what happens if you value your comfort too much over actually growing. And I realized that I need to step out of my comfort zone. I need to change my self-perception. I need to work on my self-esteem and realize that I am somebody who is a morning person. I needed to change my self-talk and my self-perception to literally become comfortable with it. And I did the first step of actually showing the accountability and the practical tips and also the compassion. I wasn't horrible to myself. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, you're such an idiot. Why did you do that? It was ridiculous. You keep ruining everything. I did not get into that horrible trap, even though maybe for a few seconds I did. I spoke back to that. I challenged that and I said, this is my first time waking up at that time. Usually I'm up at like 8 or 9 and it's just not normal for my body. But I'm working on it and it's an amazing step that I tried. And that way, the following day, I was able to wake up again at 6 a.m. and I actually did my whole routine and I stayed awake. Now, if I was harsh on myself, I would never have actually wanted to wake up. I would have started associating it with negative things. And on the other hand, if I didn't show the accountability and like the practicality of, no, you do need to do this, you can't just take it easy on yourself at the same time, then I wouldn't have actually really convince myself I do need to do this if I want a better future for myself. So you need that balance. You can't have too much compassion and you can't have too much like harsh accountability. When you combine them both, things work amazingly because I am officially now a morning person and I cannot believe that I've accomplished this because by profession I'm a writer and I would write a lot at night. And it would totally throw off my routine. I would be basically working throughout many hours of the night, and then waking up really, really late, and then feeling quite lethargic the following day, throughout the day. And I realized it's not the ideal routine for me. It's working right now because it's what I'm stuck with. And I had to really push myself to break out of that. And I did it. It was uncomfortable. I was full of like worries and like, you know, anxieties about whether it's something that I can even do. And I did it because I challenged all these aspects. I challenged my fear of failure, my self-perception. I built up my self-esteem, and all of these points that I've literally spoken about, they are the story of my life, and they really helped me. The third and final point I have for you is to build healthy coping mechanisms. Self-sabotage usually stems from stress. So you need to figure out what your emotional triggers are. Like, what is it that really triggers that stress or negative emotional states, that anxiety? What is it that leads you to feel that? Once you recognize your triggers, and by the way, these will be really personal to you, so really self-reflect. Once you've figured out your triggers, you can finally start to regulate them and come up with coping strategies that will help you to maintain a sense of mental clarity so you don't self-sabotage. Now, I was depressed for a good 3 years because my career just wasn't going in the direction that I wanted it to after I graduated, and it was just really hard on me. Now, I let myself fall deeper and deeper into the depression because I wasn't willing to pick up on what are my triggers and what is it that's really leading me onto having such strong negative feelings. I literally let myself get lost into my depression so deeply, and I just wasn't willing to really figure out what my emotional triggers were and the coping mechanisms that I could actually adopt in order to deal with the strong emotions. I let myself sink into the depression and self-sabotage myself for years, and that held me back from achieving so many different things and experiencing different kinds of success. So learn about your triggers as quickly as you can through journaling, through just sitting with yourself and self-reflecting, through speaking to a therapist, through speaking to your friends or your family members that you trust. Just let it out and figure out what it is that is truly holding you back. What is it that triggers you to self-sabotage and not believe in yourself and have negative limiting self-beliefs? Once you've figured out what those traumas, triggers, or strong emotions are, actually start implementing coping mechanisms that work for you to help you so that those strong emotions don't overwhelm you, and that you are in control, and that your emotions aren't constantly controlling you and leading on to things such as self-sabotaging. Because I promise you that as long as those emotions, traumas, negative thoughts have a grip on you, you will never stop self-sabotaging. You will constantly think about the negative and you will fixate on that. And you might reject good things from your life to such an extent that you don't even realize their presence. You honestly will not even see when you're making progress or when good things are happening around you, because you'll be so fixated on all the negative, and that is the biggest form of self-sabotage. Instead of thinking about all the good and focusing on the progress and seeing that, you know, you can do it and you can make it, and having that healthy self-esteem and self-belief, you will constantly have the scarcity mindset and think about all the things that are lacking. You need to look into your past, look into your childhood, look into your history, look into your, you know, past relationships or experiences, journal it out, talk it out, just get it out of your system, let go of it all, and be able to just move on with a clear mind. Because as long as that baggage is a part of you, you will continue to self-sabotage, because so much of your decision making isn't through a clear mind, it's through all of these things that are just like messing with your mind and preventing you from progressing. So once you've figured out all of your emotional triggers, the deep-rooted reasons for why you self-sabotage, you are going to start focusing on building coping mechanisms. And this is going to help you just snap out of this self-sabotage mindset like that. Now, your coping strategies are going to be so specific to you. I cannot give you an answer that's literally going to fit everyone, because everyone is so different. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. Now, I realized that whenever I indulge in excessive screen time, it really messes me up mentally. I start procrastinating, I start having like limiting self-beliefs about my own capabilities because of that horrible sense of comparison, which is so natural when you're on social media. So basically, it just wasn't good for me. And I realized that I need to cut it out, because I constantly start self-sabotaging through thinking about negative things, procrastinating from my goals, and all sorts of other things whenever I spend time on social media. So I started limiting my screen time as much as possible. Exercise and self-care also really helped me to just work on my self-esteem, to build myself up, to make me feel good about myself, to make me want to show up. And it's just been so good for my mental health as well. So whatever the triggers are in your life, try to eliminate them as much as possible. For instance, if it's toxic friends, if it's social media, try to eliminate that as much as possible if it's leading on to low feelings. If you can't really eliminate something from your life, it's just there, you're stuck with it, you need to change your perception. Build a healthy coping mechanism through actually working on your inner self. Work on what you're focusing on, work on your negative self-talk, work on everything that's going on internally. This aspect is honestly all about trial and error. You need to see what works for you. You know, does exercise really build you up and make you feel confident and just happier? Is it waking up earlier, or is it waking up an hour later and just giving your body that time to really rest and rejuvenate? You need to figure out what works for you. And as you build healthy coping mechanisms and take care of yourself, your mental health, you will instantly just stop self-sabotaging because you're too busy taking care of yourself and your future. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I really hope that you found that video helpful. I've mentioned all the things that have really helped me to stop self-sabotaging and finally find true progress and success in my life and just be able to focus on my goals without just holding myself back. I'd love to know more about your journey with self-sabotage too. Please do let me know in the comment section below. Remember to support me through liking, commenting, subscribing, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.